The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are not the pinnacle of power in the world, despite rumors and propaganda seen daily in social media. It is erroneous to call researchers and revisionists conspiracy theorists or the ideas they have gleaned from their studies conspiracy theories. They are doing the best they can with limited time, energy and materials. The Internet is as fraught with disinformation as all the universities and schools put together, so people can be forgiven for making the mistake of ceasing their search at the level of the banking staff. Bankers work for a hierarchy which terminates with aristocratic nihilists whose existence is barely known. They like to call themselves the Black Nobility. Generations of inbreeding and child abuse has resulted in a breed apart as predicted in the eschatology of all three monotheistic religions, and they have attempted several times to create a world governance under their control. The owners of the banks are the Black Nobility, and they, themselves, are subject to a powerful illusion associated with black magic and worship of the deities they believe in. Belief is a very powerful thing. It can manifest reality, and so these phenomenally wealthy but highly occulted families have some very peculiar ideas. They sincerely believe in their own supremacy or divine right to rule. The Divus Julius coin showing Julius Caesar's sidereal apotheosis following his assassination, minted by his heir, Octavius Augustus. Note the comment signifying the ascendancy of Julius Caesar's soul. The earliest of the Black Nobility's recorded ancestors created their empire, and they are obliged to continue with the plan on pain of disinheritance, excommunication or death, whether they like it or not. They have been brought up to play their part in such opulent circumstances that they cannot imagine being any other way. They bred or beat empathy out of themselves generations ago, and they educate their children to continue the family traditions and beliefs. The list of modern descendants is large, comprising some 6,000 individuals or more. They are, among others, the Ghibellines, who supported the Holy Roman Emperor's Hohenstaufen family. The Guelphs, from Welf, the German prince who competed with Frederick for control of the Holy Roman Empire and includes the British royal family. The Justiniani family, Black Nobility of Rome and Venice, who trace their lineage to the Emperor Justinian. Sir Jocelyn Hambro of Hambros, merchant, bank. Pirpello Luzzatifiquez, whose lineage dates back 6 centuries to the most ancient Luzzatos, the Black Nobility of Venice. Umberto Ortolani of the ancient Black Nobility family of the same name. The Doria family, the financiers of the Spanish Habsburgs. Elie de Rothschild of the French Rothschild family. Baron August von Fink, the second richest man in Germany now deceased. Frank Orsini Bernacassi of the ancient Orsini Black Nobility that traces its lineage to an ancient Roman senator of the same name. Further details of the Orsini family and relatives. The Alba family, whose lineage dates back to the Great Duke of Alba. Baron Pierre Lambert, a cousin of the Belgian Rothschild family. Another very interesting document which I came across by accident looks at the Black Nobility in detail, naming families and individuals. Excellent historical account of how the Black Nobility conducted financial control and endless wars to depopulate the known world can be heard here. The Venetian problem remains with us today. Truly, the most urgent task of this generation of mankind is to definitively liquidate the horror that is Venice's insidious global influence. Comprehensive history here. John Coleman's overview of the Committee of 300 and related pages provide a great deal of background information and can be accessed here. These international criminals and royal and noble crime bloodlines are threatening society with more fake epidemics, weaponized forced vaccinations, wars based on lies, civil war, world war, martial law, and genocides. They are attacking society with secret societies, organized crime, and electronic weapons. These bloodlines spread plagues and have been doing that for hundreds of years. These families are behind all the major wars including World War I and World War II. When people stand up to tyrants like them, they infiltrate opposition such as the American Revolutionary War. These criminals have trillions of dollars in offshore accounts in Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Luxembourg, and they are controlling the Bank for International Settlements. They extort governments and people and make hundreds of millions per year through organized crime. They torment people with electronic weapons. The entire electronic grid has been weaponized. They finance continual lying in society through the media and entertainment. Their primary tactics are lying and phony arrogance. They run all the religious organizations, secret societies and covert organizations like the Jesuits, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, Scientologists, Skull and Bones, Kabbalists, Wiccans, Five Percenters, Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta, Shriners, etc. They own the organized crime syndicates including all mafias, drug cartels, street gangs, and biker gangs. They oversee the global organizations like the United Nations, NATO, World Bank, IMF, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, CERN, Maritime Law, Interpol, Conference on Disarmament, Red Cross, Geneva Conventions, etc. These criminals have infiltrated every government agency in the world through pedophilia, child sacrifices, criminal financing, bribery, secret organizations, and mafia tactics. They have designed all governments as corporate entities and chartered subsidiaries of their corporate houses and monarchies. They are mass human traffickers, mass murderers, and war criminals who commit crimes against humanity at all times. Images of the modern descendants of the Black Nobility and further information can be found here. The Power of the City of London, Black Nobility Financial HQ, can be best understood by watching this film. The Truth of Zionism, a Christian ruse, can be understood by researching Nimrod and his opposing relationship to the Jews. He was an empire builder and the grandson of Noah. He defied God in his quest to create a global empire, something the Black Nobility are still working on today. Perhaps something truly hard-hitting may be a necessary pill to swallow at this point. This video is Royal Babylon, the Criminal Record of the British Monarchy, an investigative poem by Heathcote Williams. A very useful document which reveals so much about the Bush family and its connections to Nazi Germany. Vital to fill in some gaps. NWO is real and is now. The Black Nobility view the world as a gap and core binary world. If you live in the gap you have two choices, die or migrate. If you live in the core you have no choice, except migrants, poverty and debt. Anyone who has done any depth of research knows that the origins of political correctness is communism, but few seem to have realized that communism is not a Rothschild or Rockefeller invention. It was first developed by Jesuits working in Paraguay. They called their first experiments the reductions, and they reported their findings back to the Vatican along with considerable funds raised by enslaving the people of Paraguay. They discovered that they could deny the population the use of Spanish, thus isolating them from neighboring countries which were developing under slightly different regimes. The reductions were successful and the blueprint for population control was passed on to willing Jewish dissidents from Russia such as Marx and Lenin. The real source of the devastating communist interventions in Russia and China were carried to those two countries by Jesuit-trained change agents. The Jesuits make an art form out of ensuring that Jewish people get the blame for their worst atrocities. It is wise to bear this in mind whenever we see videos or articles written to attack or cast suspicion on the Jews. This has been going on since the Crusades. The Roman Catholic Church popes were, in fact, the first Zionists, if you understand that Zion is an alternative name for Jerusalem. Their objectives are borne out by the Unum Sanctum Papal Bull of 1302, which claims all souls on earth for the Roman Catholic Church operating on earth on behalf of God, according to them. Given that no papal bull ever expires, you can get a glimpse of the long-term plan that the Jesuits have worked towards ever since they first became the military arm of the clergy. Their hatred for Jews stems from the conviction that their race is responsible for the death of Jesus, and therefore herding Jews into Israel is a dreadful plan which leaves the Jews wide open to falling prey to the diabolical plan outlined in Revelations. I have written at great length on my doubts about the provenance of that supposedly biblical book. I think it is a blueprint for hell on earth, so that the Roman Catholic Church, a thin disguise for the old Roman Empire, can achieve its end game of full totalitarian authoritarianism on a global scale. The Black Nobility plan to annihilate life itself and replace it with their own design. That is how much they seek control.